What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about the reasons why I feel like everything is kind of like God's fault in a way. And now the reason, without me, when I say God, you can refer to as like the universe, as spirit, as your higher self, or as the 3D realm, or life, or just anything. But with me, I like to refer as to God because my definition of God is pretty much everything. But the reason why I don't, because like me, I take life personal, but I don't take life seriously. I mean, I take life seriously, but I don't take life personally. I take life seriously to where all the things I want, I want to become the best version of myself. I want to be healed from all the bullshit and trauma, and I want to create a successful life for myself, so I don't have to like override the bullshit of what life has to offer, right? But at the same time, I don't take life personally because unfortunately we live in a society, we live in a world where like everything is kind of restricted, everything is corrupted, and a lot of people are in pain, a lot of people are traumatized, and a lot of people are narcissistic in the result of them being traumatized. Now, what causes? Of course, generational curses. Of course, like dealing with a narcissistic parent, a narcissistic caretaker, or like authority figures who are narcissistic. More likely, parents from their upbringing, and they traumatize these kids growing up. And once they grow up, um, they're so traumatized, which causes them to vibrate extremely low. So either demonic, negative entities take over their vessel or take over their mind, or they manipulate their mind to have a closed off heart. And naturally, if you experience a lot of trauma and bullshit, you're gonna have a closed off heart. So now these people are not only they're closed off, but from a spiritual aspect of it, they're possessed by, or they're heavily influenced by demonic entities. Because what I've learned, I'm not saying it's true, but what I've learned is that when you're vibrating extremely low, that gives room for demonic entities to like inhabit you, or to heavily influence you into causing harm into innocent people who have that innocence, who has that open heart space pretty much, or who are vibrating high. They'll kind of use you to destroy that person. And there's a lot of many other factors, but I'm not gonna get into it. But so yeah, so since a lot of people are experiencing this, it causes people to like experience demonic possession. Like some people like to call it the Jezebel spirit. Some people like to call it different terms for it. But there's this YouTuber named Denzel Moss, Breaking Empaths Free. Shout out to him. He made a very deep quote that really kind of stuck to me. He said at the end of his video, he said, narcissism is a spirit. And after he said that, like, kind of like, I kind of froze because I kind of had goosebumps because like when he said that, is like I had a aha moment. I had an epiphany because he's right. Because I've experienced, and he mentioned that like narcissism, the spirit of narcissism, it will tend to follow you wherever you go. And when I reflect on my life, that makes so much sense. And a lot of other people, they experience the same thing as well. The narcissism spirit, like what it does is that like no matter where you go, that narcissistic spirit is gonna kind of influence, manipulate, and or possess other vessels to harm you or to fuck with you and to make you psychologically traumatized in a way, right? That makes sense for my life. I'm not saying everyone was like this, but it seems like no matter wherever I go, and don't keep in mind, everyone experiences this. This is why a lot of people are angry, they're upset, and they feel bitter. Everyone has been betrayed, everyone has been screwed over and stuff like that. I'm not sure it's part of the human experience. Maybe it is, but I'm gonna get to that later in this video. Right now I'm talking about the basic aspects of narcissism. Then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna talk about how God, the universe, and this reality is at fault because they allow shit like this to happen. It's part of the human experience. It's fucking dumb, right? It's stupid. Whatever. But again, people may call it free will, which I get it. I get it from a higher perspective. I understand why God or the universe likes to allow horrible shit to happen due to free will, and it's the duality of this realm. I get it, but at the same time, it's ridiculous because And then God wants to use other people to undergo so much torment, suffering, and trauma just so they can overcome it, and so they can heal the collective. Or this is where you get your teachers from, your spiritual teachers. And that doesn't have to apply for spirituality. This could apply for like inventions, certain knowledge, not just anything, like certain knowledge, like invention, an idea on how to make society a better place. Basically, I feel like everything is pre-planned. Everything is kind of predestined in a way, because I can't explain it, but based on what I've experienced and how I've observed and how my mind is, I'm not saying I'm right, but I feel like everything is pre-planned. Everything is kind of pre-orchestrated. But at the same time, it feels real because we have a nervous system. We feel pain. We're influenced by our human body, our animalistic human body, and our desires and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, because you got time speeding up, you got the days going by a lot faster, so it's like that. And the human body, we're influenced by astrological influences that influence our desires in a way. This is why we have like Mercury retrogrades that cause people to act more angry. The electronics act up because of Mercury retrogrades. You have people, there's all this shit pretty much. You got these full moon cycles and eclipse. It's like part of the human experience, or at least in its timeline. It's like you go through trauma, you go through so much abuse, then you overcome it, and then you heal from it, and then you go through more trauma and abuse, and it's a constant cycle of rinse and repeat pretty much. You know, it's ridiculous. So that's one of the reasons why I don't say like personally like that. So when I experience bad shit, or when I experience like shit that's out of my control, yes, I'll get mad over it because I'm still in the human body. Things have a huge influence within how I experience in this realm, so it still plays a role in me. But I don't take it personally because I'm aware everything is pre-planned. Life is short, life is temporary, and like everything is kind of corrupted and lied and twisted around and very evil. This is a very evil realm. This 3D realm is very evil. This is why people call it hell and shit like that. Just the fact that God or the universe or this realm allows shit like this to happen, that's a fucking problem. All of our problems is not really our problems. Yes, other people in the collective allow shit like this to happen, but I like to view things from a very simple perspective. Maybe I'm wrong, but how I look at it is like, it's not even our fault, it's God's fault. It's the universe's fault, because they allow pedophiles and Masonic bloodlines to rule this world. You know, for and not for like a certain amount of years, but like for like damn near all of human history. That's not our fucking fault. That's God's fault for allowing evil ass motherfuckers to rule this world. And now you got wars going on, you got enslavement going on, you got poverty and people in stress, and people are miserable, forced to work at these jobs. So it's like, what can you do? It's not our fault, it's God's fault pretty much. But at the same time, you can use God, you can use the universe to your benefit to go through life. This is why some people call life like a test. Some people say it's a test your faith of God or the creator of the universe. Some people like to use the Bible verses to, you know, and shit like that. But a lot of people are heavily traumatized because of the system, because the system is extremely evil, and this system keeps a lot of people restricted and controlled. This is why a lot of people are making YouTube videos. They're all talking about generational curses and breaking generational patterns, but it gets annoying. We're like, because we don't have free will. Now, I'm not sure it's because our spirit chose to experience this, or God, or whoever the fuck, man. And I understand we're going to get to the top by the end of our life, but how I look at it, like, this shit takes so long, and you got to go through so much bullshit just to, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like sometimes the human experience is a waste of time in a way, because like all it does is keeps you busy. There's nowhere to go. It's like you're just running in circles. Yes, you're learning lessons, you're learning new things, but like there's nothing really to do here in this realm. This is why God likes to have people experience being traumatized and hurt and go through so much bullshit. Even with these jobs, like most people waste their times with these jobs because this realm wants to keep people occupied, or at least in this timeline, it wants to keep us occupied into doing something. This where you get your soul mission and shit like that. So you don't have free will. These are forced to do things. It's like when you're a baby, you're forced to go to school to learn a bunch of bullshit you don't want to go to. You go to work and you experience being around dysfunctional family members and shit like that. All that shit was pre-planned so you could be engaged in this realm. This is why I'm not sure how it works in the afterlife, but if I had the opportunity to reincarnate, I would not do it. I will not do it because it's a waste of time. You're not learning anything. The only thing you're learning is through pain. And someone told me that there's a theory that, like, in order for your soul or your spirit to learn lessons, they gotta incarnate to a human body. And no, in order for your soul or spirit to learn lessons, supposedly, you gotta go through so much suffering and torture and bullshit just so you can learn fucking lessons. And what's a better idea to learn lessons through pain and suffering is to incarnate to a 3D earthly realm, the human experience, right? So, and that makes sense. This is why in the human experience, you experience so much bullshit, pain, and suffering. You know what I'm saying? So not only we're dealing with spiritual warfare, we're dealing with Masonic bloodline to our pedophiles who rule this world. We're dealing with them who control the world. We're dealing with money restrictions that control our lives. We're dealing with spiritual warfare. We got time speeding up that can't keep up with the system or our lives. And you got other astrological influences that cause us to make our nervous systems overstimulate. And now you got other people, they're trying to heal from their past lives. They're trying to break generational curses, and they're also dealing with the spirit of narcissism. On top of that, we don't know too much about human history, and we have a lot of advanced technology and other information hidden from us. So that's the cards you got to be. That's the cards we're dealt with, being a human, pretty much. Now you can't tolerate it. We're not really living life. We're just coping with life. We're not living life. We're surviving. If money never existed, most people wouldn't be doing the things they'd be doing. Also, yeah, but I feel like this is timeline. I'm telling you, it's the universe's fault. It's just the fucking timeline. Because let's say if people expose world corruption and like the money system collapsed and everything was free, I feel like there'd still be chaos and war because it's the nature of the human desire to want war and to always have conflict and to have power and shit like that. This is where you get the psychopaths and some prisoners from. That's why you have like certain serial killers and rapists and shit like that. So I feel like there's not enough spiritually evolved spirits compared to a lot of retarded, new, reckless spirits incarnated here. There's a lot of reckless spirits in here, but there's lesser spiritually aware, mature spirits in here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's part of the rules and regulations. Who knows? But yeah, but that's how I view life. It's like, this is why I don't take life personally. And I'm not saying you have to go against God or anything like that. No, but this is from my own perspective. I don't respect life. I don't respect God or the universe, but I love God and the universe. I love God and the universe because if I'm going through some type of pain or obstacle or some bullshit, then I rely on God. I rely on the universe. But do I respect them? No, the fuck I don't, because they allow so much bullshit like this to happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's not my burden. That's their fucking burden. Same thing when I'm experiencing narcissistic abuse and generational curses. That's not my fucking burden. That's their fucking burden. They wanted me to experience that shit and go through abuse and psychological trauma and all this other stupid ass shit. You know, that's not my burden. That's their burden. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not bypassing. I'm not running away from it. But I still got to heal from it. But it's still not my fucking burden. You know, and that's how I deal with life, with the collective and shit like that. It's not our fucking burden. That's God's problem. This fact that shit like this even happens. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but the spirit of narcissism, I feel like it is a very real thing. This is why a lot of people are narcissistic, even if the family members, like, they weren't always like this. Maybe they were, but like, I think there's something off about them, how they all operate from the same handbook. They all like to attack me. And even though I wasn't like, even though I was a victim and shit like that. So it's like, we all act the same. So it's hard to explain, but go watch my old videos. I'm not gonna fucking explain it, but like, just experiencing this shit, like, I knew in my mind, like, it was some type of energy or some type of like very evil, sinister type of energy to where like I was kind of meant to experience being in a generational curse of abuse, narcissistic abuse and shit like that, just so I could experience it and break free from it. But and so now I have the knowledge now, and I can study from it and what other people are going through, what I've been through. But I do see some physical characteristics of people changing their eyes, people changing their facial structures, and just negative energy. This is why I do believe narcissism is a spirit. Maybe it's a devil, maybe it's a demon. Who the fuck knows? It's a Jezebel spirit. Who the fuck knows? But people do get harassed by the narcissistic spirit. And the reason why people are susceptible to the narcissism and the narcissistic spirit and the Jezebel spirit is because we live in an evil as realm. We live in a world where like it forces people to become traumatized because we're not living life, we're surviving because of money restrictions, because of world control. You got wars and enslavement going on. People are forced to do things they don't want to do. That creates a lot of trauma. And on top of that, that's the gods, that's the reality, that's this realm, that's their fucking fault. But the best way to do it is to not take it personally and to use yourself as motivation. If you got to rely on God or the higher self as motivation to do what you got to do, and I'm not saying I'm right, but that's how I view life from my own perspective. I still rely on God, I still rely on the universe, I still rely on my higher self for guidance, protection, and information. But do I respect them? No, I don't. Same thing with my ancestors, because they're the ones that perpetuated generational curses and family traumas. So I don't fucking respect them. But anyways, that's all I gotta say. And it's crazy how time is speeding up, man. The days are going by extremely fucking fast every day. That shit's annoying. But you just gotta do what you gotta do and write down the schedules and just do what you gotta do. And have a good one. Peace.